All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Halayim Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakal Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so this is going to be a quick video, man. I just want to report on what's going on, man. All right, more news with this with the tensions between the U.S. and Iran. All right, now we're living in a time, all right, that Yahweh Shai spoke about, the wars and rumors of wars. And this is the time that we have been prophesying about, the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord. All right, the Israelites of Great Millstone and the ones that teach in like manner. And I say that very humbly, because I hope that I am one of the Lord's true chosen prophets. I hope that I am of the elect. You know, we know we're teaching the 100% truth, right? But the Lord does what he wants to do, man. And Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, you know, Ratazah, I am of the elect. All right, we have been prophesying and preaching, all right, you know, World War III, week in and week out. All right, for years, man. For years and years and years and years and years and years. All right. And just like Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter says, at the end it shall speak. All these prophecies are speaking for themselves right now, man. To the point where we ain't got to say too much no more, because the prophecies are speaking for themselves. They're speaking very loud and clear, man. All right. And like the scriptures say in Ezekiel 33 and 33, then shall they know a prophet has been among them. All right, we've been prophesying World War III, America's destruction. All right, all this hell and chaos and misery and suffering that's getting ready to come upon the face of America. And now you see it getting ready to happen, man, if you don't live under a rock. All right. So this is website here. It's like a Greek website. All right, but they took an article from the Washington Post, all right, and this is coming Tuesday. This was yesterday. What's today's date? No, this is today, all right, Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. All right, so the Lord is keep creating tensions between Russia and the U.S., all right, because, not Russia and the U.S., all right, well, yeah, Russia and the U.S. are tensions are rising as well, but I meant to say Iran and the U.S., all right, because Iran and the U.S. Play a very great part in end-time biblical prophecy, man, that we have been prophesying and telling you about. You know, Iran in the Bible known as Persia, and also the Carmanians, all right, America in the Bible known as Babylon, all right, and they play a great major part in end-time biblical prophecy. And America's destruction is biblical prophecy. This place is getting ready to be pelted with nuclear missiles, man. All right, and Iran is going to partake in that destruction. Iran is going to send missiles over here to America. All right, so let's read it. It says, the Washington Post, Trump tightens the noose around Iran. All right, U.S. sends over 150 fighter jets to Europe and the Middle East. Woo. All right. It says a significant increase has been observed in the presence of fighter aircraft at U.S. bases in Europe and the Middle East following the failed talks between the U.S. and Iran on February 17th. All right, and it's the Spirit of the Lord that has it like that. Of course, the talks and agreements have failed. All right, so the Lord can fulfill His word, man. All right. It says right here, the United States has sharply increased its military presence near Iran, moving more than 150 fighter jets to bases in Europe and the Middle East after the second round of nuclear talks concluded without result on February 17th, according to flight data and satellite imagery, all right, reviewed by the Washington Post. According to the report, The current presence of U.S. military forces in the region is among the largest in the past 2 decades. Yeah, I reported on that, a few days back, maybe about a week ago. All right. It says, because the military presence over there, the U.S. military presence over in the Middle East right now is something crazy, man. All right, over 100 military U.S. fighter jets, man. All right, Donald Trump over there has a great armada over there. That's what he's calling it, an armada, man. You know, two U.S. aircraft carriers are over there. You know, all types of U.S. military presences over there. All right, so it says, according to the report, all right, the current presence of U.S. military forces in the region is among the largest in the past 2 decades, all right, dating back to the period before the Iraq War in 2003, all right. The buildup follows President Donald Trump's threat to strike Iran if no agreement is reached to limit Tehran's nuclear program, all right. Though he has not specified the targets of such an attack, Iranian officials have said that a deal is possible, but that reaching one will take time. All right, experts examine the development note that it surpasses the mobilization preceding U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear program in June of last year. According to them, the assets being assembled point to a multi-day campaign without a ground invasion. Dozens of additional aircraft are aboard the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford, which was spotted Monday off the coast of Crete. It is the second aircraft carrier sent to the Middle East, and its arrival means that roughly 1/3 of all active U.S. Navy ships are now in the region. Woo! All right. So it says Dana Straw, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East and current research director at the Washington Institute, said that the enormous level of power that has been assembled means the U.S. military can carry out whatever Trump decides. All right. From a prolonged high-intensity campaign to more targeted limited strikes. All right. So, bro, what's getting ready to pop off is something crazy. We don't got too much time here. All right. We might not even have 5 years here, bro. You know, it seems like it's a lot shorter than that. 2 years, 3 years. You know? It says, if the administration is planning a sustained air campaign lasting weeks, even more military assets will be required, according to Mark Kankian, all right, senior advisor at the Center of Strategic and International Studies. All right, it says major flow of forces to the Middle East. Pentagon officials acknowledged the large flow of U.S. forces to the Middle East, but declined to comment on details, citing operational security reasons. All right, more than half of the newly deployed U.S. aircraft landed at bases in Europe, according to satellite imagery and flight tracking data, by stationing them in Eastern Europe, out of range of most Iranian missiles and not at Gulf bases. All right, the U.S. can strategically position equipment or personnel without offering Iran an attractive target, said Gregory Brew, senior Iran analyst at Eurasia Group. All right, and you also got other news outlets reporting on it as well. All right, you got the WION, all right, which I haven't been on this site in a minute. It says U.S. all set to strike Iran, ? All right, satellite images show over 150 American military aircraft deployed near Tehran, all right, which is Iran. All right, satellite data shows the U.S. has deployed over 150 military aircraft near Iran, one of the largest buildups in years, as President Trump pressures Tehran amid stalled nuclear talks. All right, though no strike has been ordered. All right, so you see what's popping off, man. All right, it says amid the diplomatic tensions over Tehran's nuclear program, the U.S. has reportedly moved over 150 military aircraft to bases in Europe and the Middle East in recent days. All right, so it's just saying what is, what I just read in the other article. But many articles. All right, you got this article, the article I just read. All right, you also got this article here. All right, Athens Times. All right, and you also got this article here. All right, which is the article I just read. All right, you got this article. Oh yeah, I opened that one twice. All right, so you see what's going on, man. All right, so right now, all right, President Donald Trump moved 150 aircraft, 150 fighter jets, all right, to Europe and to the Middle East, man. He just the tensions keep rising and rising and rising with the U.S. and Iran. All right, because these two nations play a very, very great part in end time biblical prophecy in this third world war. All right, these two nations play a very great part, all right, in this third world war. All right, that the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord have been prophesying about, man. We've been telling you, all right, that World War III is coming, that America's destruction is coming. We've been telling you about how Iran takes place in this third world war. Russia, all right, America's allies turning against America, which is what you see happening literally right now. All right, that's Revelation 17. All right, the 10 horns shall hate the whore, and shall burn her flesh with fire. You seeing this entire world turning against America right before your eyes. All right, Donald Trump is making this whole world hate him, man. All right, nuclear missiles are getting ready to be shot over here, man. There's not too much time left. All right, so just to report on what's happening, what's going on. All right, Lord willing. All right, this lesson is and was edifying. All right, to keep you in the know, to let you know what's happening, man. We're watching. All right. All right, so with that being said, call halal yum, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakar Quitash. All right, on to the next one. Shalom, shalom.